Hello, students. Your intrepid teacher here. Wanting to talk to you a little bit about your project for Unit 3. Time is of the essence in Unit 3 and Unit 4. We're lucky to get that one finished. So we don't have a lot of time to talk about your project for Unit 3, so that's why I'm going to make you watch this in the evening time. But I can explain to you the purpose of the project. We're going to try and scale it back a little bit. Most of your work will have to be done at home. I do have some computer labs booked for later this week, but you will have to do most of it at home. So I want to talk to you about what this actual project is about. So I based this, and you should not be surprised knowing me, I based this on challenge-based learning, which is something that Apple in education seems to really believe in. And actually, if you look down here, they have a new research paper, so feel free to look at it. It'll be quite interesting. I think I will. But what it is, and the purpose of this is challenge-based learning, is that you are challenged with your own idea, and you're challenged to do something about it because you care, because you picked it, because you're interested yourself. So the first thing is the big idea. So we're in economic globalization. What is the big idea? And so is the big idea, can companies be socially responsible? Is the big idea, is outsourcing actually working? Does outsourcing actually improve the lives of the people who are getting the outsourced jobs? Does it make their jobs worse? What happens to the people whose jobs were outsourced in the original company, in the original country? Those kinds of ideas. So we looked at and put some big ideas on the board. Hopefully you took a picture of that, or wrote them down, or have them committed to memory, or you can ask me and I can remind you of them. But so you have a big idea, and so it says there, every challenge starts with a selection of a big idea, a broad topic that has importance to students and their community. And I need to clearly erase a lot of stuff on my computer. Right? So, so for us, the question is, that's the big idea. Right? So let's say the big idea is economic globalization and social responsibility. So the essential are things you need to ask yourself, right? Can companies be socially responsible? Are companies socially responsible? Does outsourcing have benefits? And do those benefits outweigh the drawbacks of outsourcing? Those kinds of things. So once you can slowly start to narrow down your idea, you would come up with your challenge. So this is where you're going to have to try and find an answer. So you are challenged to find an answer. So if I say to you, all right, is a company socially responsible? Then you say, I accept that challenge and I am going to find the answer. So let me just take a look over here. So let's say you were doing Nike, right? So far I've managed to do Nike swoosh. So from there you could say, are they socially responsible? And so maybe you don't know much about Nike, but you've done a little bit. You've heard us talk in the course or classroom about sweatshops. So does Nike have sweatshops? Does Nike still have sweatshops? And does that mean they are not socially responsible? Does it mean they are socially responsible? These are things we need to take a look at, right? So guiding questions and activities. How are you going to solve this problem? What are you going to do? And so you guys kind of, you need to figure out what you're going to do. So a lot of these Apple ones, they're asking sort of different questions about what's the nutritional content. So I mean, here we have to work with students to identify guided activities, and so people do surveys and that kind of stuff. So you could survey the class or larger groups in the school and ask them, how important is it for you to know that the company that you are purchasing products from is socially responsible? We could do that. Right, guiding resources, find out where you got that. Most of us are going to be from our good friends at Google. Right, so you can use Google, right, and you can, not Mike, good Lord, Miss Home. So you can start here, right? So responsibility, Mike, right? So I'm gonna guess that NikeResponsibility.com has something to do with the company, right? But this one, BrandDunk.com, doesn't have anything to do with it. Organic consumers, that would be kind of interesting to look at. Socially responsible garment companies take on Nike. Companies in the news about corporate social responsibility. So there is Nike goes green and becomes socially responsible. Well, there you go. It'd be interesting to look at which one of these is actually right. So that would definitely be something that you could look at. Here you go. How on earth do you present this? Now, of course, Apple suggests that you should present it using, of course, Apple products. We don't have to do that. You can use a Prezi. Some of the best ones I saw in your last projects were people just standing up and talking, people making their own videos, right? So make sure that while you're doing this whole thing, you remember that these things, oh, that's a horrifying picture, these things come in quite handy. So you can use it to take pictures, to take notes, to document, to make memos to yourself, to record memos. There's lots of different things that you can do. A lot of you can make videos with your phones. Keep in mind that the library, however, also has video cameras that you could also probably use too. So what I'm wanting from you, and we'll talk about this in class, is for you to pick something that relates to economic globalization. One of the fantastic ones would be maybe one that you'd be interested to look at, something called The Story of Stuff. Right, this is a fantastic, really cool video, which undoubtedly I'm going to make you talk about. She's got a new one called The Story of Broke, right? And how the U.S. got to the crap they're in now. But there is one called The Story of Stuff, right? And so government subsidies, there's lots of different kind of fascinating things that you can look at on The Story of Stuff, talking about the commercialization of our world and what effect it is having on us. Have we gone too commercial? That would be a fantastic one to look at, particularly because we're getting close to Christmas, and let me tell you, that's where commercialism really hits us in the you-know-where. So there are lots of opportunities. So picking your topic is the most important thing that you do. Picking that topic and finding the right guiding questions to help you. Right? So if you're going to pick, is the world becoming too commercialized? And your guiding question is, do we buy too many Apple products? I don't know if that's a good fit. Right? So use me, help. Hey, I get paid to help you. Right? So make good use of me early on. And then after that, you're out there on your own, finding out the answers and creating a way to present it to the class. And I'm really interested this time in having you all present something to the class. So if you're terrified of standing up and talking in front of people, then do a video and we can just watch the video, right? But I want you guys to present. And when you present, I want the kids, the rest of the students in the class, and your teacher to find out something that they didn't already know because of the textbook or because of what I've already taught you. And so people could say, oh, that's new information. The teacher can say, hey, I didn't teach that. They must have done some research, right? Because if you just give me stuff that sounds exactly what just came out of my mouth, that's not what the purpose is. You haven't challenged yourself, right? This is a challenge-based learning project. So good luck. Hopefully this gives you some ideas. The guiding questions or the essential questions, the big ideas and essential questions we've talked about in class, hopefully gave you a start. Hopefully this gives you a little more information. There's always a comment section on this WordPress blog. You can always submit comments. They get emailed directly to me, and I get that on my phone and all sorts of stuff, so I can respond fairly quickly if you have any questions. And I will talk to you guys later.